Have you ever wondered why betrayal or any kind of infidelity in your marriage is so devastating to you? Here I'm sharing what betrayal does to a Christian wife's heart. You know, when it's 2 in the morning and the house is still, and the only sound you hear is the tick of the kitchen clock, it feels like it's marking a life you don't recognize anymore. When your husband betrays you, it hits your soul. It cuts into the core of who you are and everything you believe in. It touches what God called holy. I remember sitting at my desk one day, and my hands were wrapped around a mug of tea, and it had gotten cold. And I gripped it hard to keep myself anchored in the present because I felt myself spiraling into extremely painful territory in my mind. I replayed the moment I caught my husband looking at inappropriate stuff on his phone. I can still hear his voice denying it, and I could still see his expression of shame. And the covenant we made before God had been torn apart that day. If this sounds familiar to you and you've lived through this kind of betrayal, I'd love to hear your story in the comments. And I post new videos on Tuesdays. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Betrayal and infidelity is sin against God, the vows you made to each other to remain faithful, and it's against the unity God calls holy. That ache in your chest is the grief of someone who values what God values. In moments like this, the enemy starts intruding fast. He pushes lies into your mind about your worth, your future, your marriage, and whether you were ever loved at all. And he even tries to make you doubt God's goodness. I was reading Psalm 73:26 one day, and it was one of those really painful days. And it immediately pierced my heart with truth, and my mind too. It says, "My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever." It shut the enemy right up as I said it out loud. And even when my strength failed and my heart failed, God stayed steady. He remained faithful to me. It's like he lifted my chin to look at him so he could look in my eyes and say, "Daughter, people will fail you miserably, and I won't. I'm always advocating for you." He was the one solid thing when everything else fell apart. His presence didn't move. God was my safe place. It's funny how when we're in distress, we run away from God, when running to Him is the best thing we can do. He helped me call what happened by its right name. Sin is a devastating bomb like a grenade. It destroys safety, kills peace, and it steals your joy. I had to grieve with God as my anchor. I opened my Bible and blasted worship music in my ears because His words were the only thing that could cut through the noise in my head. I guarded my heart so this betrayal pain wouldn't lead me into bitterness and despair. I stayed close to believers who spoke truth to me without watering it down, and they prayed with me and for me often. God sees the cost of what you carry. He calls your marriage holy. He knows how deep this wound goes. Stand in that truth. Let God do the heavy lifting He is meant to do for you. If you're carrying this wound and the spiral just won't quit, download my 5-day Stop the Spiral guide. The link is in the video notes and in the comments. And remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on Therapy Tuesdays.